Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Grant Henry here to talk to you about yet another bill that is moving through the Tennessee legislature that I want to draw your attention to. Now, some say the only thing worse than a lawyer is a lobbyist, but I think I know what can top that. A taxpayer-funded lobbyist. And yes, you heard me right. I said your tax dollars are used to fund lobbying in the great state of Tennessee. Ladies and gentlemen, this incestuous overlap of government hiring people to influence itself is a very real thing. There are dozens and dozens of people paid by you and I that are directly lobbying your legislators every day to make sure that governmental departments have a hand in our bills. These department lobbyists are some of the most powerful people in the building. They heavily influence the outcome of legislation, and they are not elected to represent the will of the people. Let's say you have a bill that you really like, and let's say that you and the bill sponsor may have worked on this bill with several other organizations for a long time to make sure that the language of the bill is perfect. Well, maybe somebody, say in the Department of Safety, really doesn't like your bill, so they just send down their department-paid lobbyists to meet with all the legislators and to give testimony in the committee. They do this to work against the bill that you hoped might pass, and more often than not, they win. Now, regardless of whether you agree with the position of that particular governmental lobbyist or not, isn't even the point. That doesn't matter. The point is that we are paying their salary, and they are not elected to represent any of us. Now, listen, I'm a lobbyist, okay? I know this rant here may sound slightly hypocritical coming from me, but the main difference here is that you all don't pay my salary. A company called Free Tennessee pays my salary. Let me put it this way. Someone that is not a representative of the people is attempting to have far more influence over your representatives than you do. Now, that fact by itself is not crazy. Corporate lobbyists are up there every single day trying to do that very thing, but now consider that you're paying for it. Literally, sometimes twice. Often a department lobbyist is there to advocate for a bill that will require more government spending for their department, or to fight against a bill that might cut funding for their department. So we're actually paying for their salary in the front end, and then we're paying in the back end by way of increased government spending. So if you thought you didn't like lobbyists before, how do you feel about it now, knowing that you're actually paying for the privilege 2 times? But please, listen, don't take my word for it. Listen to Senator Kerry Roberts address 2 of these department lobbyists just a week ago in committee.
Senator Roberts.
I'm just going to go ahead and say that I'm deeply offended by your testimony today, both of you. The reason why I'm deeply offended is you both have sat here and lobbied against a bill by a member of this Tennessee General Assembly. It's your role to tell us the consequence that you see from your professional opinion, but it's not your role to sit here and say that you're philosophically opposed to a bill. It's not your role to say it's bad public policy. I had a conversation with one of your team members this morning in my office, and I made this point. We are tired of taxpayer-funded lobbyists coming into our offices and trying to tell us what to do. You ought to be Switzerland. You come in and you say, here's the consequence if you do it, here's the consequence if you don't. But to sit there and say that you have philosophical objections or tell us it's bad public policy, no one elected you to be a legislator. This is a legislative branch of government that is charged with the responsibility of passing laws. If you want to tell us what the consequence of passing that law is, we need to hear it. That is a great use of your time. That's a great use of our time to listen to it. But it's not appropriate to come in here and tell us what you think is a good or a bad idea. And I'm offended by that, and I'm tired of having the departments come in here, and I want every commissioner in Tennessee to hear this. We have 3 separate branches of government. And it's our job to pass the laws. And to the sponsor of this bill, I hope that you take into consideration everything they say, and the valid points that they have made are outstanding to hear and incorporate into the bill. But Mr. Chairman, I'm tired of having people come in here from a department, a board, a commission, or whatever, and lobby, paid for by taxpayer dollars, state employees, come here and lobby against what the people elected us to do.
Now, if you all want to know what's being done about this in the great state of Tennessee, I would urge you to contact your state senator, your House member, anybody involved, and ask them to support these two bills that you're looking at on your screen right now. House Bill 2485 and Senate Bill 2687. House Bill 2485, Senate Bill 2687. Again, they're trying to add some transparency to the way that our tax dollars are being spent for this kind of lobbying. And as you can see here, the House bill is in the Public Service Subcommittee on March 23rd, and it will be heard on the Senate State and Local Government Committee on March 22nd here. These are the people that you want to contact, and I will put all their information down below. I'll put the links to this page down below in the description of whatever video you're watching. Any person that you want to contact, click on their name, and you will find their contact information here. Phone, if you leave a voicemail, it's probably going to be the best way. A personal email is also good, but call these people, let them know that you would like them to support this bill here, House Bill 2485, Senate Bill 2687. And again, these bills are attempting to add some transparency to how our tax dollars are spent on this kind of lobbying. And without transparency, there can be no clarity on this issue. And without clarity, we will never really know how much of a problem Tennessee has with separation of powers. Help us return to the kind of government that our founders intended, one where each branch of government had a proper respect for checks and balances to ensure liberty and magnify the people's voice.